Hey everybody, it's Silent Evil with Oklahoma's Most Haunted Paranormal Investigations, or OMHPI if you prefer. I've been thinking lately, reading a couple of articles, and I find it very interesting. You guys ever heard of the haunted doll of Hakito, I think it's called? Well, it goes as 1918, and a young man brings home a doll for his baby sister, Akiku. I assume that's her name. Now, this doll is dressed in a kimono, preferably like a China doll. And what's interesting enough is that she loved it, loved the doll, just like any little girl would love her doll, and she named it after herself. Well, unfortunately, guys, the little girl died at the age of 3. Now, when the little girl was buried, she was not buried with the doll. Presumably, the parents either forgot or was just left behind. Well, the parents made a kind of altar to honor their child. Now, this is not uncommon in Japan and in China. Last year, when I went to China with my wife to meet her family for the first time. We were going to go see her grandfather, who just passed away a year ago, but they had an altar at their house, honoring him and everything. And so, I honored him. So it's not uncommon in that practice for them to do that. So shortly afterwards, the doll started exhibiting different features. Well, a certain feature, if you will, and started growing its hair out long, and presumably it went down to her knees. The family thought, or still thinks, that the doll is haunted by a Kiku spirit, which is actually quite interesting. I like to know that. It is quite interesting to know that a doll is haunted. Now that's not uncommon, because if you look at what is it, Annabelle, which I know everybody's seen the movie Annabelle, and everybody probably got scared seeing it, which is a good movie. Wrong, but I did not know that it was a Raggedy Ann doll until I did a little bit of research, and I go, oh, it was just a Raggedy Ann doll. How can a Raggedy Ann doll look scary? Or how could anything like that? But, it isn't uncommon for something like that to happen. So, to continue off, back in 1938 comes around, the family wants to move. Well, they're afraid to take the doll with them because, they get nervous when they're around them. It's not like, oh, hey, it's our little girl in there, let's just take it. Oh, it's nothing like that. So they're nervous, they don't know what to think. Well, so the only thing that they know to do is they take the doll to a monastery. It says here it was the Moniji Temple, and they gave it to some monks to take care of. Well, the doll's hair continued to grow, and it became a daily chore for the monks to cut her hair. Now, I know it doesn't seem much by talking about it, but that's kind of interesting. It's kind of weird to know that, that a doll's hair continuously grows. I mean, it's a doll. I mean, we look at today's dolls and we go, oh, it's got little plastic hairs or anything like that. But even to this day, the doll is in a wooden box and it's still on display at the temple. And the hair continues to grow. Well, it's not uncommon back in those days to actually use human hair for dolls, that or horsehair. Well, what I find even more interesting, okay, is that they actually got a forensics team out there to check to see if it was real human hair or if it was just a prank gone bad. What the results were is that yes, it was real human hair and it continues to grow today. That's awesome. I mean, is that not cool? I mean, the doll isn't sinister by any means. There's no moving. It doesn't make any noise. It doesn't bring bad luck. It doesn't cause any death to anybody. It's just there. So, is it haunted by Akiku? Is it Something else? I want to hear from you guys. What could it possibly be? In my opinion, it could very well be the spirit of the little girl. Who knows? But you know what? I do find that quite interesting, and it just goes to show you that some things out there cannot be explained. And that means not even through science. For those who go through the scientific view like I do, some things just cannot be explained. So, what do you guys think about this haunted doll? What are your thoughts? I mean, is it something that you guys would you guys like to go see something like that? I certainly would. I'd love to go see that. I'd actually like to see a video of the time lapse of its hair growing just to see. I think that'd be something interesting, and maybe hopefully I can do later on in the future if I ever go to Japan. Well, boy, wow, that's just so interesting. Wow, man, that's really cool.